Okay, so it's 9:30 at night. It's blowing about 30 knots in this anchorage. I filmed this the next day, so it had calmed down by now. But um, last night, 9:30, blowing like hell in here, and the anchor's dragging. And I believe that those two mountains there are causing a venturi because it wasn't supposed to be that windy. I think the wind funnels through there. The anchor's dragging. I ended up adding a second anchor at 9:30 at night in the dark. There's the road there. Okay, so now this is going to be a bit of a cockpit tutorial here. Case study reenactment of what was going on. So this is still indicative of what it was like the night before. So you can see here, that's my scatter at anchor there. And I started about there, and then I drifted back, and of course swinging in the wind and the gusts. Laterally, I think it was around 90 feet. My anchor had dragged probably about 60 feet. And I had some room behind me, but not a lot. I'm in 30 feet of water there, as you can see. And I had 200 feet of chain out. So I had over a 6-to-1 rode to depth ratio. So I was surprised that I was dragging. Nevertheless, I was dragging. So there you go. I probably dragged about 70 feet. And I'm looking at it going, okay, if I drag another 70 feet, it's going to be, too late to add a second anchor. I'm going to be in a bind. I had a boat, downwind about 150 feet, which I'll show you in a minute here. I also had a dock that was up and, just to the left of the left of the screen there at the edge of the arc. I'm about 60 or 70 feet from a dock there on the arc on the left, and looking at it, blowing like hell, thinking, okay, you know what, I got to do something here. So I decided to add another anchor. Now here it is. Here's the radar. Okay, so there you go. That's the dock on to starboard here. So that's that's 60. It's saying it's 90 feet away there. There's a boat 200 feet away. There's a boat 300 feet away, and then upwind is another boat, over 300 feet. So I didn't have a ton of room downwind, and I'm looking at this going, okay, now I'm challenged because I have a manual windlass, and in 30 knots of wind, it's a real challenge to haul the boat forward against that kind of wind. And the other piece of the puzzle is, if I get the anchor off the bottom, I'm going to be getting blown downwind in a hurry. I'll chew up that 150 feet in probably less than a minute if I'm not quick. So I've got that challenge, and the wind was so strong, I didn't think I could row forward of the bow in that wind. I thought I would get blown back. So what I ended up doing was motoring forward, 120 feet and dropping the second anchor, and then letting the boat drift back. So I didn't haul the first anchor. I left it, created slack in the chain, went 120 feet forward, dropped the second anchor on this line here, and then tied it off, and then let the boat settle back in. And honestly, I'd love to hear what people's thoughts are on this, because people don't really talk about this much. Um, I'd love to hear what people's thoughts are on handling this situation. This seemed like it was the best solution. I didn't think I could haul the anchor. I didn't think I could row forward in the 30 knots of wind, and in the middle of the night. I thought I might be getting myself into more trouble if I tried that. There's the dock, off to the side there. There's the boat, a couple of boats downwind. There's the boat that's upwind. So it was just, significantly interesting. So back to this. So what I did was, I got the anchor all ready. I got the rode ready. I had 200 feet of chain out, 120 feet of extra rode on the second anchor. And I motored forward. Showing you the end of the arc there, but I motored forward. This is showing 70 feet. I went another 50 feet beyond my finger there, and then dropped the anchor and then drifted back. And by morning, there was no tension on the second anchor, which meant the primary held, which was good. Nevertheless, I was trying to think of, what was there a better way to handle this under the circumstances? As I said, I think if I had a motorized windlass that I could activate, from the cockpit, I could have raised the anchor, motored forward, several hundred feet and dropped the anchor again. But I didn't have that option with my manual windlass. I got to pull a crank and it lifts the chain 4 inches at a time. So for 200 feet of chain, it's 600 repetitions to get that anchor out of the water. And I would get it off the bottom, and the boat would start drifting. I'd have to run back to the cockpit single-handed, and then move forward with the anchor still in the water. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on how to solve this. I think I had the best solution I could come up with, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. People don't talk about this stuff. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, by all means, whatever it is you're doing out there, respect the risk, have fun. We'll see you next time. And again, I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you handle the situation when the anchor is dragging like this. Thank you very much. See you next time.